I'm Vicky. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you the start of creating my Halloween inspired gown. I've designed a look it's definitely Halloween, it says Halloween, but it's more glamour and couture than costume. So keep watching and I'll show you what I've come up with. In this video, I'm going to show you how I make the top part of the dress with the sleeves. In part 2, I'll show you how I make the mermaid skirt to go on the bottom of the dress. And in part 3, I'll show you how I'm going to style the wig to go with it and how the finished look comes together. To make this dress, I'm using stretch black velvet and a stretch black jersey. This will be the main part of the dress and the sleeves. I've then got black tulle, a black petticoat. I've got some white cotton drill, some black lining to make the bottom part of the skirt. I've got my airbrush colours, which I'm going to mix to get the right orange to create the ombre at the hem. And then I've got hundreds of black and orange crystals to decorate it with, which I'll be putting on with E6000 Fabrifuse. Okay, so to make the main part of the dress, I don't have a pattern already made for this, and I don't have any commercial patterns that are right. So I'm actually going to adapt this really old stretchy top pattern that I've got. So I'm going to keep the sleeve as it is and just cut it to the elbow length that I need. And then I'm going to use the front and back patterns from the top, but I'm going to bring the waist in and bring it down longer to turn it into a dress. And for the neckline, I want it to be quite a wide sort of boat neck. So I'm actually going to shorten the shoulders here and cut it straight across. So, okay, so I've used my paper pattern as my starting point for the top of the dress. And then I've used my measurements to change it from a top into a dress. So the waist wasn't very tight, so I've kind of folded it in and then measured my waist, measured my hips and measured the length I want it to be. And then at the top, to make it the boat neck, I'm just narrowing the shoulder seam and then I'm going to cut it straight across. So I'm going to cut this out. I'll cut one out, then flip it over to make sure the side seams are exactly the same. So this is my two pieces. Now they're cut out. I'm just going to put them together really roughly and try them on myself and see how the fit is. Okay, so this is the dress. Now I've tried it on. I've got pins digging in everywhere. I'm really happy with the fit at the top. It just needs to be a bit tighter. It's a bit baggy around my waist here. And I'm really happy with the fit over my hips. I don't want it too tight because, I don't know, I'm a bit conscious of my tummy like most people are. So I'm really happy with the length too. So that's where the mermaid flare is going to start from. So I think that's going to give a really good proportion. I'm really happy with the shape of the neckline as well. I couldn't pin it up at the back because I'm here on my own. So I'm just going to, do a few little pins at the side here. Just pin it in a tiny bit. Mark those alterations. And then I can use this to cut out my velvet. And I think I'll keep a copy of this pattern as well. And then I've got it to use for future dresses. Okay, so I've made a copy of my pattern. I've just cut it out of some white cotton that I had. So I've got my sleeve and my front and the back here. You can save yourself all of this hassle by just buying a bodycon dress pattern or a stretch dress pattern with a sleeve in the first place. I didn't have one and I didn't want to spend the money buying one, so yeah, I've just done this quick change to a pattern I already had. So, but yeah, you can find most commercial pattern companies will have a bodycon dress pattern that you can buy and use instead of doing all of this step. So this is the beautiful stretch black velvet that I'm using for the outside layer of the dress and the sleeves. I bought mine from Spotlight here in Australia, but you'd be able to find black stretch velvet online if you just do a quick Google search for it, or your local fabric shop might have it. So when you're cutting your velvet, you need to take the nap of the fabric into account. So velvet goes one way, it's sort of down, and the other way it goes up, and you can feel the difference. So you need to decide which way you want your velvet to go and then cut all of your pieces facing in the same direction. Sometimes this can mean buying a little bit more fabric than you might need otherwise, because you can't turn your pieces sort of top and bottoms together. Everything needs to go the same way. I like my velvet to go down, so as I'm cutting my dress and my sleeves out, I'm going to make sure the velvet's going so top to bottom, so the smooth way of the velvet's going top to bottom. When I stitch the shoulder seams on both the lining and the velvet outside fabric, I'm going to stop stitching the seam allowance in from the edge. Having this part not stitched makes it a lot neater when it comes to joining the lining and outside together to finish the neckline. To sew all of the stretch fabric, I'm using Schmet's jersey needle in size 10 and black Gutermann thread. So this is my lining and my velvet all together now. So I've joined the side seams, the centre backs, the shoulders, and I've put the sleeves in both. And I've put a concealed zip in the centre back of the velvet layer. Next, I'm going to start working on the next part of the sleeve. So these are going to have big sort of medieval sleeves that are going to be really long at the back. So to make the pattern, I need to measure the distance around the bottom of the arm. I need to measure the length that I want it at the front and the length that I want it at the back. Okay, so I've taken all the measurements I need. The circumference at the bottom of the sleeve is 10.5 inches, and I want the finish length to be 12.5 inches at the front and 29 inches at the back. So I'm just going to draw on here how I'm going to make my sleeve pattern, because it's easier to see than when I'm doing it full scale, because it's pretty big. So first of all, I'm going to draw a circle that is the 10.5 circumference. Then I'm going to draw another circle, 12.5 inches plus my seam allowance, so 13.5 inches out from here. This is not to scale, but you can get the idea. So that's my circumference. This is the bit that'll join onto the sleeve. So this is 13.5 inches, which is my 12.5 inches plus seam allowance. Now for the back, I want it to be 29 inches, so I need to cut 30 inches with the seam allowance this way. So measure 30 inches, and then what I do is I kind of curve it in from the sides down to a point like this. Maybe not quite that much, maybe more like that actually. So this is the shape that my sleeve pattern will be. So this is the part that will fall down over my hand, and this is the part that will then hang down the back. So I'm going to draw this up real size, and then I'm going to cut out 4 pieces, 2 for the outside and 2 for the lining of the sleeve. So this is my finished sleeve pattern cut out the right size. You can see how big it is once you get it up to full size. So it looks like a big teardrop with a hole in the middle. So you can see once that's joined onto the sleeve, it hangs like that, so you end up with this lovely full circle, and then the teardrop forms this long part at the back, and you get this lovely draping. So now I've got my pattern sorted. I'm going to go ahead and cut out 4 pieces of this, so 2 for the outside and 2 for the lining, and I'm going to join them right sides together onto the sleeve. So while I had the dress on to measure for the sleeve length, I popped a pin in it here, and that pin is where the sleeve sits, just here on me, which comes down to the back of my hand. So as I stitch the sleeves on, I've marked with a line. So I've marked with a line here the center of where this part is. So as I stitch it on, I'm going to line that line up with where the pin is, so I know that it hangs where I want it to hang on the sleeve. So this is how the 2 halves of my dress are looking with the sleeves attached. I'm really, really pleased with how they look. They've got so much fullness and that beautiful drape that hangs nicely down the back. So the next thing I'm going to do is join the outside and lining together along the neck. To join the outside and lining together along the neckline, I've got them right sides together, and you can see where we stop stitching the seam allowance away from the edge, we've got this opening on the shoulder seams. So what we need to do is leave that open like that. So if I line up this part of the shoulder seam to where the stitching stops, and then line up this cut edge, but keep that part folded back. And then join my raw edges along the front. And the same at the back, so I'm going to leave it folded under and line up the edges. Cool. So that's how it looks when we get to the shoulder seam. So it means once I stitch the seam allowance, I'm going to stop just past where that stitching finishes, and it will give a really nice clean edge to the end of the boat neck. So I'm going to pin all the way around and stitch my seam allowance. And I'm going to be really careful because it's such a wide neckline, and because it's stretchy, I'm going to be really careful that I don't stretch it as I stitch it. So this is how the shoulder part looks when it's sewn. So you can see when I turn it in the right way, these seam allowances will go to the front and to the back, and that will leave a really neat finish on that corner. So next I'm just going to clip all the excess and then turn it in the right way. So this is my neck all sewn and turned in the right way. I've just put some pins there for now to hold it, and you can see how neat the corners are there going into the shoulder seams. Next I'm going to finish the edges of the sleeves by doing a bag hem. So what I've done is I've just put a couple of pins to hold the points together. Then I'm going to unzip the back because I haven't finished down the inside of the zip yet. And I'm going to pop my hand in between the outside and the lining, go down between the sleeves. Oh my god, there's so much fabric and it's so heavy. And then I'm just going to find that point with the pins in and grab it, and then I'm going to pull that out inside out through the sleeve, coming out by the zip there. Then I'm just going to take those pins out and then repin it right sides together. Find that the this fabric moves on the velvet a lot because of the pile of the velvet. I'm going to actually do a second row as well, just to try and keep it where I want where I sew it so it doesn't move. Cool. So I'm going to do that the whole way around the sleeve and then stitch my 1/2 inch seam allowance. So now my sleeve is sewn right sides together. I'm just going to trim away some fabric at the very point, but I'm not going to do the rest of it. So you can sew some horsehair in at this point if you want your sleeves to be stiffer at the bottom, but I want mine to be quite soft and flowy, so I'm just going to leave it like this. So now I'm going to put it back through the armhole the other way this time, so it's back the right sides out. Cool, and you can see that's the finish we've got. So I'm just going to go and pin around the edge. Then the last jobs to do on this top half of the dress is to stitch the lining down to the inside of the zip. And then I'm just going to stitch the outside and lining together at the hem, because I'll join the petticoat and all the layers of the skirt on to this while it's joined. So this is the dress together for the top half. I've still got to press around the sleeves and around the neckline. If you wanted to, you could just leave the dress like this and hem it and wear it as a little short dress with these big sleeves on it. I've used the velvet and the lining for the sleeves, but you could use some tulle or some lace to change the look up depending on what you want to do. So I'm going to leave it like this for this video, and in part 2 I'm going to show you how I do the ombre fishtail that's going to go from black to orange with lots of crystals, and then in part 3 I'm going to show you how I style the wig and the finished look.